Right, and first of all, I just really want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's come out this morning. And to be honest, the first time I've heard about Creative Morning is when Penny reached out to me. So thank you very much, Penny, for introducing me to this amazing, wonderful community that's part of Sheffield. So I really am glad to be here today. So the theme of today is intention, but I kind of just thought I'll very briefly introduce myself. So my name is Magid and turned 29 a week and a half ago. So I was born in Somalia, came to Sheffield when I was 5 years old, grew up in Burngreave part of the city. And growing up was just fine, in all honesty. Like, of course it had its challenges. I couldn't speak English, neither could my family when we came over, but we kind of got over that barrier very, very quickly. So growing up was great fun, and I went to Furvale School, for those that know where that is. And it was great. And honest, when I was young, I didn't necessarily have any, shall we say, ambitions in career or career goals or anything like that. I think at one point I wanted to be an elephant when I was a child. Quickly realised that wasn't possible at all. And then I think I just went through so many different transitions, and then decided to go to university after taking quite a few different A-levels. I thought to myself, well, if I go to university, I can just broaden my horizon, learn new things. And I thought I'll study aquatic zoology because I was interested in water and I was doing lots of scuba diving at the time, and I thought I'll go to an exotic place to study, so I went to Hull. And I had a great, amazing time at University of Hull, did aquatic zoology, but still I never really understood what it is I wanted to do. And I think at that point afterwards, I set up a digital marketing company with two friends, which failed miserably. And you live and you learn and you kind of move forward. But what I'm trying to get, do you know how a lot of friends, family, a lot of people that we don't necessarily have got a career plan, and I completely understand because it provides stability, it provides security. But that's not something I necessarily always kind of had. I'm more of the person that seeks opportunity and really just kind of takes it by opportunity, kind of runs with that. So I never really ever expected I would have been Lord Mayor. So to be Lord Mayor, first of all, you have to be an elected councillor. So when I came back to Sheffield, I really just wanted to, I guess, play more of an active role in my community. And it was during the rise of UKIP and the far right in 2014. And I kind of first got involved in politics when I was at university. And I remember getting involved, because I came from a sports background, so I didn't come necessarily from a political background. But I remember when I got involved in my students' union, I thought, do you know what, I'm going to run to be student union president. But not knowing any, I couldn't honestly tell you the difference between left or right. I knew I cared about certain issues. So I knew I cared about eradicating the hidden cost of university, standing for free education. So when I kind of stood as student union president, I remember being asked the question like, oh Majid, are you going to join the picket line? And me not having no idea what a picket line was. So I obviously gambled and I was like, yes, I'm going to join the picket line. Everyone gave me a round of applause. So I thought that was the right answer. But I really just and then got involved in my local community. And I think it's 2016 when I got elected as a councillor. And thought, wow, this is amazing. I've got a big platform to really just highlight certain issues and campaign what it is that I want to campaign on. And from when I got elected as a Green Party councillor in Broomhill and Sharvale, that's when I found out how the council works, opportunity of a Lord Mayor. And then that came up. And then when that came up, I kind of thought, do you know what, I will throw myself in, and I thought I'll just give it a go because I thought it would be a great opportunity. In fact, I forgot to press the slide, 1 second, sorry. So basically, it's like, for me, an idea of what I thought a Lord Mayor was basically somebody like this gentleman here. I'm sure there's, not to say all Lord Mayors are the same by any stretch of the imagination, but I had a stereotype of what I thought a Lord Mayor did, what a Lord Mayor's responsibilities and powers, or just what it is they did. And my understanding was, and what it is, so the role of the Lord Mayor, for those that don't know, is predominantly two different things. So the role of the Lord Mayor, first of all, is the main ambassador of the city and represents the city locally, nationally and internationally. And the second part is, we've got something called full council meetings, where it's once a month, the biggest meeting at the council, and this is where all the decisions that affect and impact everyone in Sheffield takes place, and the Lord Mayor's role is to chair that meeting. And I think traditionally what people know for the Lord Mayor is, Lord Mayors go to a lot of different fates, different community things, open up stuff. And that's all the stuff I was excited about. I thought to myself, surely there could be so much more to that platform. And I kind of thought, well, let's see how I can just change the role, basically make it into my own and see what it is that I can do. I can't remember what the next slide is. Okay. So, yeah, so when I became Lord Mayor, I thought, oh, amazing, fantastic. I can really use that platform to put certain key messages out and really just make it into a role of influence, but a really meaningful role, to be honest. And I think one of the things I understood is that we do live in a world where a lot of the politics is filled with a lot of fear and hate. And I thought, well, this would be a great opportunity to really combat that by really putting some positive messages out there. And for me, my intention so far as a Lord Mayor from the beginning was 4 intentions. So the first intention was to literally engage as many different people as possible and to spread positive messages anywhere I can and to really get as many people talking about Sheffield, but also really championing all that is great and good about Sheffield, while also connecting people on an emotional level. Because one thing I understood is nobody cares if I put out manifesto points or like make it really like long. But I thought, how can I really just capture people's imaginations and really just engage people on an emotional level? So that's why I started then kind of looking at different ways I can really capture people's imagination. So what I'm going to do is, so everything I'm basically just going to show you is 3 quick examples of three examples of how I had intention and executed something with intention. So the first one is this picture. So do you know, so let me just give you a bit of information regarding it. So every Lord Mayor, for those that haven't been to the town hall, there's something called the Ante room, A-N-T-E room. So they've got the pictures of all the Lord Mayors from 18 something, right? So I thought to myself, do you know what? I need a picture because the picture's going to outlast me well past I'm dead. And I thought, well, it needs to be a picture that's so much more than just your stereotypical headshots, where if you look at literally in the ante room, it's quite disappointing because it's like, you know what, it would have been so amazing if every picture told a different story and there was some creativity involved because because if you just go in there, it's just the same pictures every time. So I thought, well, it's a great opportunity to really just say something different and kind of like really just introduce myself and to basically to the role and to the world and everything. So the intention of this was basically just to introduce myself and say, listen, my name is Lord Mayor, I'm going to be doing things differently. So I kind of thought, do you know what? I already accept people aren't going to like me. I accept I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I'm literally just going to do things how I want to do it. And listen, I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. I will learn from my mistakes, but I will always do what it is I want to do. Because for me, the last thing I could think of is getting towards the end of my time and thinking, do you know what? I wish I was to do it my way and have all that. So I kind of thought, I'm just going to literally just run with it. So I kind of called a photographer and I had a lot of mutual friends called Chris Saunders. So I was like, Chris, I've got this idea for a picture. Let's just take a couple of pictures. And there was a couple of security. We were just observing what we were doing. And we took there was quite a few different shots. We took some like normal headshots and whatnot. But I thought to myself, do you know what? It still needed a bit of oomph. And I kind of thought, well, let's just get out of the way, just kind of stand on the plinth and I squat onto it. So it was a big health and safety hazard because it is a big drop behind that. So literally, it was a case of, all right, there's no security looking quickly. And honestly, it was great that Chris was very like on board with everything. And a bit rebellious, I thought, right, there's no security, quickly just jump on there. And it was just that one shot. It wasn't like we got the lighting, like he set everything, but it wasn't just like, what I'm trying to get, it wasn't lots of shots prepped. It was literally just quickly jump on, take the picture and kind of just jump off it. And then that's how the picture was taken. So when I kind of went through the picture, I thought, this is the one that I want to go in the ante room. Because like it kind of, for me, kind of gives the image as like, well, listen, I've still got the chain on, so that part of the tradition is still there. It's also saying, well, listen, want to do things differently and I've arrived. And to be honest, it does make it look like some sort of Hogwarts really grand picture, but it just looks, the composition is great. So credit to Chris Saunders and all that as well. So when I kind of thought, well, this is when I'm going to put the tweet out, you say, listen, thank you very much. I thought I'll kind of put a message with that because I thought, well, the picture alone would be great, but it'll be great if you had a message along with that. So I kind of put a little post on Twitter and with like another image of just basically some short text, basically just thanking people for the sacrifice and the opportunities that kind of got me to where I got. And then honestly, then the internet does what the internet does, and then the internet just went crazy, and then it just went completely viral. And it was really quite interesting to see because things just was kind of creeping up, and then next minute, like my phone was going crazy. I'm literally being like, because you know what I think I never realized was that you know, Twitter, you've got your inbox and there's the other box, which I've never checked, and then there were so many different messages on there. And honestly, everybody was just sending me so much amazing, just lovely messages. And never did, because my thought process when I became Lord Mayor was always like, it's just local, you're the Lord Mayor of Sheffield, and that is just my remit. But when I was getting like doing all these interviews and literally seeing posts like in Turkey or doing interviews like in Canada and all this, like people sending me messages, even like I had a friend who lives in Sudan and he was in a WhatsApp group, he goes, this is the local news, there's this picture of you. And I was just completely baffled, I was like, what the heck? So, and I honestly think one of the reasons it kind of possibly cut through, because maybe we do live in a bit of doom and gloom, and this kind of gave a different message of hope, and especially when it was somebody with a position of influence or position in politics where they're like, oh my God, this is a Lord Mayor, this is such a great way of representing people. And I also think, if I'm being honest with you, one of the reasons why I've got so much attention, especially when this kicked off, is due to a failed democracy, in the sense that the people that represent us in all forms of government, whether that be local or national governments, they don't necessarily represent the people, they don't reflect the people that they represent. So if we look, for example, the government cabinet at the moment, it is basically filled with millionaires. So how are they meant to understand child poverty or certain other issues like that? So had we had, say, more women, more people of colour, more BME people, more people from the LGBT community, it wouldn't be as such a kind of a big deal. But of course, the picture always helped massively, and the stories that kind of also helped massively. But it really the impact of it was like, I just got a big platform, and I've literally been going here, there, and everywhere. Like I even went to Amsterdam to speak on this panel about how does party culture impact politics today with their mayor and a couple of other mayors, and it really just put Sheffield on the actual stage. And it's like everywhere I was going, like even the message begins like, oh my God, it's in Sheffield, like so progressive, like I want to move to Sheffield, Sheffield is so cool. And any given opportunity that I get, literally whether it be the daily politics or whatever like that, I always try to plug something about Sheffield, because for me that is one of my main focuses, to really just champion Sheffield and get as many people talking about Sheffield as possible. But of course it came with a lot of hate, and I already accepted that from the beginning. Well, not everyone's going to like it, and it is what it is. But honestly, the positives was absolutely amazing. So if I give, how long have I been speaking for, Penny? Okay, fair. So basically, just another example I just wanted to kind of touch upon was this, right? So just coming back off the other picture, one thing because I'm always constantly learning, one thing I learned was, wow, like pictures, like I thought it was such a great way to engage and just communicate people differently, right? So I thought, okay, well, how can I expand on this? So every month we've got a full council meeting where it's the biggest meeting of the council calendar. So I thought I'm going to use that platform to take a different picture every month. So I kind of made it into a photo project, right? So for every month I am going to wear a different t-shirt with a different message, take a picture of me squatting somewhere inside the town hall. I'll wear a different hat to every picture, and I'll wear a different pair of Doc Martens. And I kind of thought I'll take it further than that, and what I thought I'd do is I will have a different Sheffield-based photographer for every picture. So this is the second picture. There was one before that which I forgot to add on, which was basically a t-shirt of me saying "Immigrants make Britain great," and I had a tartan beret hat. There's no relation between the hat and the shirt. But basically that was the kind of first one, and I thought I will just do that every month, and I'll kind of just get those messages out. So I thought for the second month, I thought, well, listen, Donald Trump's going to be coming to the UK. So I kind of thought, well, I will literally, because Sheffield as a city, we pride ourselves in being the first city of sanctuary. We pride ourselves in being a city that welcomes people and literally just embraces diversity. So I thought, well, Donald Trump doesn't necessarily represent all that. So I thought, well, this is a great opportunity to really, because also with the t-shirts as well, I could have literally said, Donald Trump is not a nice man, or I don't like Donald Trump. Like, it wouldn't have had the same effect. So there's always with every t-shirt, there's always like a political message, like a statement, right? So I kind of thought, well, let me play around with what would reach further, right? So none of this was accidental. So I specifically chose the word wasteman because because that's like basically a phrase me and my friends use, but I also thought, well, think about it. I want this message to really travel as far as possible. So I thought, in my head, I literally saw journalists and media people having to define what it means because they don't know what it means. So that in itself becomes a new story, as a focus point. Because had I said Donald Trump is not nice, it wouldn't have gathered much. I thought Donald Trump is a waste man. Like, what is a waste man? And then having all these people just define what a waste man was just quite fascinating. Also with the tweet, right, which upset a lot of people. But what it is, I thought to myself, how does Donald Trump speak? It's like, I, Donald J. Trump, hey, man. Like, so I kind of thought, listen, let me just completely just play with that. And I was like, I, Magid Magid, Lord Mayor 37 of the city, and hereby declare that not only is Donald Trump a waste man, but he's also banned from the great city of Sheffield. The crazy thing is, in reality, the only two people that can actually ban Donald Trump from anybody, for that matter, for coming into the UK, is the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary. But 90% of the people believe that I've banned him. Genuinely, people literally just, and it's like, it made me think are people just, and like, not like, but I'm not comparing myself to Donald Trump. Is this how he gets away with it? Like, he spouts out so much stuff. It was literally like fascinating to see like people actually fought, but it was just a symbolic gesture to say, listen, he's not welcome here. And I thought I will take it a notch further by saying, I further hereby declare 13 to be Mexico Solidarity Day. But with that, what was interesting is then people expected me to do something. And I was like, oh God, so then literally within 24 hours, I put some posts out, we did something, which was great. But so one thing I learned, from the other picture going viral was, I was literally so inundated with so much press inquiry, and I just could not keep up. And even to this, I have no press officer. So when I was putting this together, I thought, I just can't actually, I haven't got the time or the capacity to do interviews and interviews and interviews. So I thought, do you know what? I need to somehow control the narrative. So I thought, well, that's what a press release is there for. So I really just put together a press release and I sent it out at 12 o'clock. And I just said, I've never sent a press release in my life. So I kind of put something together, sent it out at 12 o'clock, and I thought, embargo till so-and-so, this is the story. And I sent it out to all the contacts that contacted me before when the first picture went viral. And it literally worked like magic, because one thing I learned is that they then just literally I gave them everything. So they literally, the whole press release was sometimes word for word what I'd written, or everything I wanted to get across came across. So instead of them with the picture creating their own story, their own narrative, they literally had everything in front of them, which made my life so much easier. But that's just something I kind of learned with the whole process. But it's, yeah. But yeah, even with this, like, it came with its challenges. It's like, there was a lot of racist people that came out of the woodwork. There was a petition that was like, oh, we need to get rid of Magid as Ed Lord Mayor, which was done anonymously. And a lot of the comments in there were racist. And a lot of the people that were pushing it were people like Breitbart and like Rebel Media, a lot of the kind of far right-wing organizations. But it was just interesting just to see how it made people feel. It really connected people at an emotional level, in the sense that people were really, really like supporting me, were really, really like backing it. And the other side, people were like, were against it and everything. But it was just interesting literally to see, just on final thing on this, is like, to see the impact it had, like going through London and seeing billboards all across London saying Donald Trump is a waste man. And again, me getting literally coverage, again, like just speaking on platforms because people were interested. So I even seen a baby grow where I said Donald Trump is a waste man, literally to like honestly, it was like even like Luke Skywalker, like Matt Hamill, like was retweeting my tweet, like so much bizarre people. It literally resonated with so many people, and it was just amazing to see. And again, like the messages were like really, really amazing, really, really supportive. So that's just another example. So I'll give you a third example of something, right? So I got approached by a marketing agency that do tramline stuff. So they messaged me and said, Magid, we've seen the Trump is a waste man stuff, and we're thinking, well, if you could have a board at Tramlines Festival, what would it be, right? So I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. So I seen the email a week late, and then when I seen the deadline, I only had like 30 minutes left. So I'm like, genuinely, I had 30 minutes, I was like to myself, God, like, it's a great opportunity, I don't want to miss out on the opportunity. So I thought, okay, 30 minutes, Tramline, it's their 10th year anniversary, something around 10. I thought, okay, Sheffield's 10 Commandments. So I literally put that together very briefly. And if I could change it, I would change it. I would probably like to include something like be good to trees, because I think that's a very Sheffield thing, and I would like to add that in. But when I put it in, I just didn't think much of it. I just thought, well, this is like what I think it'll just be a bit interesting. And I thought it's tongue in cheek, right? So when this was put out on the festival, I didn't even get notified, and people were tagging me and stuff. And then literally everybody was sharing it on social media. Like again, the media was picking it up, and it was just great. Everybody loved it, but it pissed off a lot of people. Like, specifically, don't kiss a Tory, right? Genuinely, like, I had people emailing me saying, don't tell me who I can and can't kiss. I will kiss who I'm like, I'm not, and one of the tweets, one of the people like, my mother's a lovely lady, she's a Tory, and I had to come and say, listen, it's tongue in cheek, I'm not telling you who not to kiss. But people literally just blew it so out of proportion, and it's like, one woman was even like, some person even like tagged in and added South Yorkshire Police and said, this is hate crime, can you please like tackle this? Or there was a woman goes, I'm a Tory lady living in somewhere in Cheshire, I'm not gonna come to give you my Tory money. And it's like, it was all tongue, but do you know what? Honestly, it resonated with so many people. Like I can't tell you the amount of people that shared with like message, went with it. And one thing you'll know, it's like, I'm anti-Tory, that's very clear, right? But it's like, not anti-purpose, I don't agree with the Tory government and everything they're doing. But what it is, it's tongue in cheek. So one of the ways I've tried to do things is really try and merge a political, or like a state political, like a message, but in a fun way, but there's an undertone of a serious message behind it. And for me, that's like whether that be Donald Trump is a waste man, and that's something I've realized kind of works. So that's something I kind of literally put together, and yeah, it was interesting, shall we say. So basically, one thing that I'm trying to do with the role is trying to make something what has traditionally been non-influential, and you cannot dime me, but it was just non-influential and it was just there. And I thought, what I will do, I will literally, like what I've done is made it into an influential thing, to the point where literally the smallest thing sometimes I tweet will end up in, like I've seen in the Daily Mail or Telegraph. For example, I invited one of my friends to give a science performance at the council, then that somehow ended up in the paper, or like I will do something like that. And then, so it's a platform where I've made it into something that it wasn't before, where people are listening, where people care, or always thinking what I'm going to do. And I'm thinking, that's something I've never like experienced. So now I am a bit cautious, like, wait a minute, like, I just need to not be a bit careful, but I'm just wary of like what I put there can resonate and will potentially kind of go forward and everything. And I think one of the reasons I think people say, and I'm breaking tradition, all this, I think for a start, the people they don't like change. A lot of time people are scared of change, but at the same time, I think people use that as an excuse to beat me with, like, he's standing on tables, he's standing on chairs. I ask people, well, who was the last Lord Mayor? Like, so basically one thing, and just to wrap it up, it's like one thing that I've learned and something I am trying to do is, and I think one thing a lot of people admire me for, or what I'm doing for, is the fact that I don't sit on the fence. And I just genuinely think, if I'm trying to sit on the fence, I'm not standing for something, I'm not standing for anything. So I thought it was always better to really just say, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, this is the message I want to get out, and this is what it is. I think a lot in political, like, roles of like that, I think people appreciated the fact that I was a bit, and I had the courage to do that, and I was willing to stand and actually say something that I actually cared about and whatnot. And it is scary, and don't get me wrong, it's not been easy. I know I've had petitions to, and like oust me and stuff like that, but I honestly can't tell you the amount of like really vile, like racist, like threats and constantly I kind of get right. You know what, I'm going to put myself out, I'm going to say what I stand up and believe in, and that's going to come with its consequences. But I honestly cannot tell you, like, it is the positives outweigh the negatives, genuinely second to none. For every negative stuff I get, I get 101 positive stuff. And let's just like, I know it sounds silly, but even something so stupid as a squat, I've literally, people from all around the world have been doing it. People message me from all over the world of messages of support, and it's like, at times it really is easy to kind of focus on the negative stuff, and let that take over. But honestly, the positive outweigh the negative second to none. And I accept not everyone is going to like me, and I'm completely okay with that. So for me, it's always a case of I'd rather stand up what I believe in, and at the end of my time, my 10 years up, I can look back and say, do you know what, I'm fucking glad I did what I did, and it was worth everything, because the positives were absolutely great, and the impact has been great so far. And I've only literally been doing this for 9 weeks, and I've got a long while left to go, and it's just endless just to see what the potential is and how things I can just keep doing. So the people of Sheffield have been great, so I just want to close on that, say thank you, and yeah, thank you very much. So Q&A. Thank you. Thank you.